Hi folks, welcome back to another week's Safety Chat Box. As you can see, out in the woods, taking a general walk around, so apologies for the camera, it's quite rough terrain. Over the last couple of weeks, been quite busy. I've had a number of new inquiries of people asking what I class as basic health and safety questions, and wanting to know a series of things. So I'll be looking at addressing those through a series of clips while we're out and about having a walk. So first question that was asked is, do I have to have risk assessments? Well, to firstly understand that, we have to firstly identify how many employees the company has. Under both the Health and Safety at Work Act and the Management of Health and Safety at Work Regulation, you are legally required to have risk assessments completed when you have 5 or more employees. So again, there's the definition. Now, on that, if you have less than 5 employees, then it's still highly recommended that you still produce risk assessments and consider the risks to however many employees you currently do have. That way, should the worst happen, you can mitigate against any potential legal action and or civil liability claim. Just finishing off on the risk assessments as well. It's not as simple as just produce a risk assessment, chuck it in a file and leave it. You do have to provide adequate information, training and instruction to your employees. Otherwise, your risk assessment is nothing but a worthless piece of paper. So you need to be communicating all those risks to your employees and make sure they understand how it's going to be controlled and what they need to do. Also on that, it's not just a risk assessment of the general risks in the workplace. You would also require a fire risk assessment completing for your work premises, so that again you can mitigate any risk of fire or potential fire. And again, that information should be appropriately communicated to your employees to make sure they all understand what needs to be done and what we're doing to rectify it. Oh, no footpath that way. Here comes Shell, look, just coming up in the distance. So I'll have a quick chat with Shell and get back to you in a minute. So the next question we had was, do I require or do I have to display the health and safety at work poster? Believe it or not, it's not actually a common question. People get a lot of confusion of why, even if they do. Well, for this one, if you look under or even search for it yourself, the health and safety information for employees regulation, I think it's something like 1989 off the top of my head. Regulation 4 covers the provision of the display of the official approved health and safety poster. Now, another way around this is you can actually supply each individual employee upon commencement of their employment the official health and safety leaflet, which is actually free of charge, whereas the poster cost you, I think, what is it, about 15 quid from the HSE's website. But either way, it must be displayed in all workplaces, irrespective of the number of employees. So again, that covers the good old health and safety at work poster, the one that's put up on the wall that a lot of people have actually never even read. On it, it outlines the basic duties of the employer and the basic duties of the employee when complying with health and safety. Here's another quick one for you folks. As you know, we're out on a walk out in the countryside on a public footpath. Michelle is up the top of that hill currently. I best go and catch her up. But since I was in here, did you know if you had trees on your work site or on your premises, you have a legal obligation to actually maintain them? Now, interestingly, just putting this sign out here, we've got this one, no access private property. Now, a number of reasons individuals do this. Now, a couple of them, let's try and work this out. It's quite complicated. But essentially, if I was to go onto that land and a tree was to fall, injure me, or God forbid kill me, then technically they've breached the management of the trees, not looked after the trees, not maintained the footpaths. However, quite hills are steepen, by putting up a sign saying private property, well, that doesn't completely stop me going on there. I could still do so, but it acts as a deterrent and will help mitigate against my or the landowner's liability for any lawsuit, and where they'd be looking to prosecute under or make a claim under would be the occupier's liability. So I had a chat with Michelle. Another one that she's been asked, and I was actually asked this by someone else as well, do we have to have COSHH risk assessments? Now, COSHH is a whole different kettle of fish. So the Control of Substances Hazardous to Health 2005, or Regulation 2005. Now, Regulation 7 of this regulation, or actually Section 7, actually states that the employer, don't quote me on the wording, must complete risk assessments on all substances hazardous to health, and this can be completed in the manner of a COSHH risk assessment. Oh, I like these downhill stretches. Now, essentially a COSHH risk assessment takes the manufacturer's information from the manufacturer's safety data sheet, breaks it down and gives us simple to understand information that general employees can understand, and so can the employer. So again, that covers that one. Other than that, folks, we'll close it out here. Hope you've enjoyed our little walk in Chiltern Hills with us. Other than that, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments. I'll drop plenty of links to everything I've spoken about in the description down below. Till then, what we'll do is we'll look for your comments on any questions you want answering. But please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Let's get some views up. Till next time, take it easy, folks.